Our brother said, Nigerian government is sponsoring all these terrorists, which you arrest them, the police set them free. The police will set them free. Do you agree with what this our brother said? That Nigerian government are the sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria and in every other African region. That is what he's saying. Look at that, Nigerian government are the sponsors of terrorism. Did you believe, did you agree with us? Have you seen the reason why you cannot find any terrorist group in the detention, in police or in the jail? Because if you arrest them, the same police, the same military will set them free, because the same military is terrorist, the same police is terrorist. Share this.
When the attack happened in Libya and Gaddafi was being taken down, a number of African presidents said, wait, hold. We will fly into Libya and we can have some kind of diplomatic conversations. The feedback from external actors to them was, if you fly into Libyan airspace, we cannot guarantee your security. I want you to think about that for a minute, that heads of state of the African continent were told this on our continent. And ladies and gentlemen, what is Libya today?
These were heads of state, and their flight was refused. We had to negotiate until they arrived. What happened once they arrived in Libya? Gaddafi was ready to quit power. He was ready to step down. He said that to heads of state. And this brings us back to the idea of ownership. We should own our security, social and political system. Our population needs to accept that system that we are proposing, and we need to position ourselves vis-a-vis the rest of the world. When you see armored vehicles rolling in the streets, what do? Do you intervene? The responsibility to protect, does it enter into force or not? I agree that intervention should be criticized, but sometimes you need to look at the facts. 14 years after the intervention in Libya, there is no government. It was possible to stop war in Libya.
African countries, people in Africa, need to use their own brain power to make a decision first, whether this country or that country is doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Don't be forced by any other country to make a choice which will not serve your fundamental interest.
So the question for Africa when it comes to multilateralism is to go beyond the demand for inclusion and look inward and talk about the demand for leverage that allows Africa to demand a seat at the table and to get it, not because we've been left out, but because...
Major breaking news from Kenya and Burkina Faso. What just aired on the Kenya national television has shocked the entire continent. Atop US, General Langley boldly insulted Ibrahim Traore live on air. And people are asking, how was this even allowed? In a shocking and controversial broadcast, Kenya's Citizen TV has found itself at the center of a storm after airing an exclusive interview with the US General Langley, known to many as a vocal critic of Burkina Faso's leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore. The general didn't hold back. Live on air, he hurled a series of strong accusations towards Ibrahim Traore, calling him, in his own words, nothing but a criminal pretending to be a hero. He even claimed that Traore is destabilizing Africa under the mask of leadership, statements that have sparked outrage across social media platforms and in Pan-Africa political circles. Even more disturbing, General Langley openly declared that his plans to arrest Ibrahim Traore are very much alive and might happen sooner than people think. Viewers from across the continent are questioning how a respected Kenya TV station allowed such disrespectful remarks towards a sitting Africa head of state to be aired without balance. news. Many are calling the broadcast an attack not just on Traore, but on African dignity as a whole. So far, Captain Ibrahim Traore has not issued a response, but knowing his calm and fearless approach, many believe a powerful reply may be on the way. Across Africa, people are standing behind Traore, praising his leadership, vision, and bold resistance against foreign interference. They are also calling on African media to be more careful when giving platform to those whose words may divide rather than build the continent. This is more than just media controversy, it's a wake-up call. Stay tuned to Pan Africa TV, where we bring you the stories they try to silence.
Breaking news. President of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore, intercepted 17 suitcases containing high currency from France plane. 17 suitcases, 17 million euros, and 17 names. Captain Ibrahim Traore looked at the list he placed on the table. All of this is money earned from our gold, he said. Everyone at the airport was watching silently. The VIP section of Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso airport, had never been this tense. It was past midnight outside Africa's starry skies. Nearly at this hour, the airport will be empty, just security guard on night shift. But tonight was different. Captain Ibrahim Traore's security team has taken control of every corner of the airport. The French diplomatic plane on the runway was surrounded by armored vehicles. The pilot was waiting for clearance, but that clearance will never come. Captain Ibrahim Traore, Intelligence Chief Colonel Mahmoud Kabul, Airport Director, intercepted 17 cases, 17 million euros, and 17 million euros. 3 vehicles from the French embassy entered the airport at 2 a.m. These 17 suitcases were loaded onto the plane. 2:55 a.m., the plane requested to take off. These are diplomatic cargo. Mahmoud Kabul protested. 2 soldiers stood at the door. There was no way to escape. The 2 soldiers, after the first suitcases on the table, lifted the first suitcases on the table. The suitcases lock was open. The lid was slowly open. The suitcase was filled with euros. The second suitcase was open, filled with document of assassination list of leaders. Captain Ibrahim Traore checked out the document and said, "Enough. Put them behind bars for more investigation. The French embassy should be closed immediately." So the French embassy in Burkina Faso is closed, and those who were caught culprit are behind bars.
Breaking news from Burkina Faso. This will shock you. Imagine the Burkina Faso military has just discovered one of the major terrorism site in Burkina Faso. Imagine all these people here are terrorists trying to destabilize Burkina Faso. You won't believe they've been arrested and they've been stored to custody so that they can tell what's their mission and who is sending them to come and attack Burkina Faso. Imagine, you can see France is still on a mission. They are deploying even small kids. I think some of the kids here are even below 18 years, but they are here as terrorists. You won't believe this. At this place, they found a lot of motorbikes, ammunitions, and everything that were to destabilize Burkina Faso. Imagine this effort that Ibrahim Traore has done, and then they found a group of terrorists trying to attack Burkina Faso again. You won't believe it. The French are still into Burkina Faso, and I really don't know what's their mission, because at this point, Burkina Faso military is very, very active, and their troops are very active to see where these terrorists are, because this time, the terrorists have no room in Burkina Faso. They won't believe it. What's your point of view in this?
Imagine telling somebody, "We don't need you. We don't want your help. You've done enough. We got it from here." And this person is going to say, "We want to help them. We should help them. They should let us help them because what you're doing is corrupt, and what we're doing is not corrupt, because you cannot control or run your country, because you're stealing resources from your people and using it to line your own pockets. I said we don't want your help. You've been doing the same thing you're saying that we are doing, so what are you really saying? Mr. Langley, sir, they don't want your help, my friend. You've done the same thing you're saying that this guy is doing, but you want to come back to do the same thing you think this guy is doing that you've been doing. No.
Breaking news. President of Russia, Putin, has said, enough is enough for any country that is not interested in Burkina Faso to build or to grow. He, Putin, must make sure that the country is put to order. So he has come out with new nuclear weapon so that President Captain Ibrahim Traore will use to fight any terrorist that is terrorizing Burkina Faso. Any country that is not in support of Ibrahim Traore to grow, be it Ukraine, be it USA, be it France, or any country that is not in support for Burkina Faso to grow. Putin said Captain Ibrahim Traore is like a son to him, and he, Putin, is like a father to Ibrahim Traore. So if Ibrahim Traore is asking for his help, he cannot say no. So this new nuclear weapon is being sent now to Burkina Faso to protect Ibrahim Traore and to defend the entire Burkina Faso. This is the latest news currently now from Putin, Russia.
Major breaking news. You won't believe what is happening in Burkina Faso. Remember those terrorists that were arrested and unalived in Burkina Faso during the recent attack, right? They were not terrorists. Let me explain. So I spoke to someone from Burkina Faso, and also there is a trending video of someone from Ivory Coast. He's speaking French, explaining exactly what is going on there. So this is what he's saying. He's saying that France and USA, they are recruiting people from Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, all over Africa to go and fight for Ukraine, to go and help Ukraine fight Russia. So these people, they are signing up because of the promised money they are going to get paid, without knowing that they are not signing to go to Ukraine, but the day of traveling, that is when they are taken to Burkina Faso. Can you believe this? So those terrorists that were attacking Burkina Faso when Ibrahim Traore was in Russia, those are the same people who were recruited to go and fight for Ukraine, but they were taken to Burkina Faso to attack Burkina Faso. So this, my friend from Burkina Faso, she is telling me that more than 500 of those people, they were unalived, and more than 300, they were arrested. And when they were caught, they said that they had no idea they were signing to go and fight war in Ukraine, but they were brought there to Burkina Faso.
I've seen a lot of popularity recently of people trying to convince us that the Europeans are not our problem, the colonizers are not our problem. It is we Africans that are bad people, we have bad governments, even we ourselves are bad. But how come it is that every time we try to have a good leader, or there is somebody good that is supposed to transform our countries, they are assassinated or something bad just happens? Is it a coincidence? And you're telling me these people don't have hand in it? You see, what did they stand to gain from making sure that we stay where we are? They keep exploiting us. They get we youths to leave our own countries and come to their own countries to come and do the menial jobs that their people cannot do, right? And they get to live their good life, and we stay suffering, right? So they still get people from our countries to come to their country. If those are our good leaders like Ibrahim Traore, if he liberates Africa, they will suffer because they don't have anywhere they're exploiting their resources from again. So that is what they stand to gain.
CNN, BBC, France 24, I'm watching you all. I'm recording every lie. I'm archiving every distortion. I am Ibrahim Traore, and today I'm pulling off your masks. Yes, you heard correctly. I, whom you call a young military junta leader, whom you brand as a dangerous radical, whom you serve up as an anti-Western dictator, am now telling you the truth. And this time you cannot turn off your microphones. This time you cannot turn away your cameras. This time your editors cannot cut this speech, because the world you monopolize no longer exists. Because millions will hear these words now, without passing through your filters, without being subjected to your distortions, without being muddied by your lies. I am 34 years old. Every day of my life, I grew up with your lies. As a child, I would watch Africa on television. Always the same images. Children with flies, dry lands, weapons, death. This is Africa, they told us. This is what Africa is. And we believed it. We were ashamed of ourselves. We were ashamed of our own lands, of our own people. But then I grew up. I read, I researched, I questioned, and I understood that the Africa you showed us wasn't real. The story you told us was a lie. The fate you imposed on us was a script you had written. For years, how have you portrayed Africa? How have you shown it? How have you sold it to your viewers? As if we were creatures who had no share of humanity, as if we were savages left outside of civilization, as if we were wretches waiting for you to save us. Every day, every hour, every minute, the same story plays on your screens. Hunger, war, disease, corruption, terror, chaos. These are the words that come to mind when Africa is mentioned. In your Africa dictionary, there are no other words. No hope, no success, no development, no resistance, no honor, no pride, no victory. So I ask you, New York Times, Washington Post, Guardian, Le Monde, have you ever made Africa's successes your headlines? How many times have you written about Rwanda's technology miracle? How many times have you shown Ethiopia's reforestation project? How many times have you praised Botswana's democratic success? How many times have you described Kenya's entrepreneurial ecosystem? No, because these don't fit your scenario. Your Africa cannot be successful. It cannot, because then how will you legitimize your exploitation? If it's not in need of help, how will you intervene? If it's not backward, how will you look down on it? Have you ever asked yourselves, has any editor sitting at their desk, any news director in a meeting, any columnist at their keyboard ever thought, why are the people of the world's richest lands poor? Here are the numbers for you, real numbers. Africa owns 70% of the world's cobalt reserves. Your cell phone, your computer, your electric car won't work without cobalt. This cobalt comes from Congo, but Congolese can't afford cell phones. Africa owns 90% of the world's platinum reserves. Catalytic converters, electronic devices, medical implants, they all need platinum. This platinum comes from South Africa, but South Africans are crushed by unemployment. Africa provides 30% of the world's gold production. Mali, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Tanzania. Gold flows like rivers from our lands. But our people swim in poverty. Africa supplies 65% of the world's diamond production. Botswana, Angola, Congo, Sierra Leone, billions of dollars worth of diamonds are extracted, but our miners live on $1 a day. Africa owns 35% of the world's uranium reserves. Niger, Namibia, South Africa. Nuclear plants run on our uranium. Paris lights burn with our uranium, but our villages have no electricity. And you still ask, why is Africa poor? No, the right question is, how was Africa kept poor while being so rich? Here's your answer. Colonialism didn't end. It changed shape. You used to come and occupy our lands. Now you come and establish companies. You used to take by force. Now you make agreements. You used to rule with the whip. Now you rule with credit. Let me give you concrete examples. With numbers, names, dates, but you'll never write about these. Glencore, Swiss-based mining giant, extracting cobalt in Congo. 2022 revenue, $256 billion. Tax paid to Congo, $500 million. That's 0.2%. Is this justice? Rio Tinto, British-Australian mining giant, extracting bauxite in Guinea. 20 million tons annually. What's left for Guinea? Environmental pollution and cancer. Total, now Total Energies, French oil giant, extracting oil in Angola, Nigeria, Congo. 2022, profit, $36 billion investment in Africa, dirty pipelines, Anglo-American, founded in South Africa but now in London. Diamonds, platinum, iron, taking everything. What it left in South Africa? 6 million unemployed miners. And these are just the tip of the iceberg. What about the invisible, the secret deals, the offshore accounts, the transfer pricing tricks? Every year, $88 billion in illegal money flows out of Africa. Who writes about this? Every year, $45 billion in aid comes to Africa. Everyone writes about this, but no one says Africa is not the continent receiving aid, it's the continent giving aid. While you zoom your cameras on swollen bellies, there is a huge system working silently in the background. Every day, tons of gold, diamonds, cobalt, uranium, oil leave our land. But how? Here is the system. Step 1, create corruption, bribe our leaders, open offshore accounts, promise them a life of luxury, send their children to your schools. Step 2, make deals, get 50-year, 99-year concessions, ask for tax exemptions, be exempt from environmental rules, ignore labor rights. Step 3, control the infrastructure. Take over ports, airports, railways, but only from the mine to the harbor. Don't build roads to the villages. Don't bring electricity to schools. Step 4, provide security. Set up private security companies. Arm them. Declare protesting. Step 5, silence the media. Buy local journalists. Suppress opposing voices. serve internal unrest news to international media, and this is how the system works. It's been working like this for 100 years, and you don't see this system. You don't want to see it, because you're part of the system too. Who are the biggest advertisers of New York Times, CNN, BBC, oil companies, mining companies, arms companies, pharmaceutical cartels, the companies that exploit Africa? You live on their money, you defend their interests, and what I'm about to tell you might cost me my life, but it's no longer time to be silent. France's system in Africa is the CFA franc. 14 African countries still use French colonial currency. 50% of these countries' central bank reserves sit in the French treasury. France applies negative interest to this money, so we pay France to use our own money. Through this system, France transfers $500 billion worth of resources from Africa every year. Does anyone write about this? No. But when France gives Africa 10 billion euros in aid, it makes headlines. Britain's system is more sophisticated. London is the world's money laundering center. City of London, offshore paradise. Every penny stolen from Africa passes through London. Jersey, Guernsey, Cayman Islands, Virgin Islands, all under British control. Africa's wealth hides there. America's system is AFRICOM, Africa Command, 46 military bases on the continent. Official purpose, security. Real purpose, resource control. Drones in our airspace every day, listening devices everywhere. They say fighting terrorism, but it's not terrorists. It's people's leaders who are targeted. China is the new player, says win-win, builds infrastructure, gives credit, but in exchange for what? 99-year port concessions, mining rights, agricultural lands, debt-trap diplomacy, ask Sri Lanka, ask Zambia, and you write about none of this. Why? Because you're not free press. You're corporate press. Your bosses are billionaires. Jeff Bezos bought Washington Post. Why? For love of journalism? Rupert Murdoch's media empire, Fox News, Wall Street Journal, The Sun, The Times, all from the same hand, all giving the same message. West is good, others are bad. Carlos Slim is the largest shareholder of New York Times, Mexican billionaire. Where's his wealth from? Monopolized telecommunications, got rich off Latin America's back, now controls America's most respected newspaper. And you claim to do independent journalism? Who are your editors? Which schools did they graduate from? Harvard, Yale, Oxford, Cambridge? Always the same elite schools, always the same worldview, always the same prejudices. How are your reporters selected? How many languages does your Africa correspondent speak? French, English, that's all. Swahili, Hausa, Yoruba, Amharic, they don't know. They can't talk to the people. Your sources are always the same. Western diplomats, NGOs, experts, and then you come and lecture us.
Breaking news. This is some sad news coming from South Africa, but I want South Africans to clarify this news about these 3 kids who were unalived. It's like this. In South Africa, 3 kids were unalived by a white South African driver claiming the kids were animals roaming at the streets. And I think if the information that we've gotten is literally correct, this must be inhuman, because Donald Trump is claiming that there is white genocide in South Africa, while we are getting the information that the black South Africans are the one being unalived. So South Africans, just give us a clarification of everything. This information is all over social media, and you all know recently when the president of South Africa, Ramaphosa, visited the White House, Donald Trump went ahead and said there is white genocide happening in South Africa. And now the information we are getting is that the black South Africans are the one being unalived. So South Africans, just give us a clarification of everything, because if this is true, Donald Trump should see what's going on in South Africa. Because tell me, why are these people unaliving small kids and referring them that he thought they were animals, not human beings? Because if it's true, these kids should get justice. So South Africans, give us a clarification of everything. Add the comment section if you really know these kids and you know their story.
This is the man who went down in history as the person who invented education. Just like most people think that civilization started in Europe. Well, it did not. civilization started in Mesopotamia and the Great Kemet of Africa. Then later on, about 1200 BCE was when civilization was reaching the Central America, the modern day Mexico. So there is no way a white man would have invented education when the first university in the world, the University of Timbuktu, was located in Africa. The University of Timbuktu was established by Mansa Musa, who was a Malian empire and the richest man in the world by that time. Subjects like philosophy, cultural studies, language studies, advanced African grammar were mandatory, while subjects like history, algebra, physics, medicine, chemistry, arithmetic, and astronomy from the Dogon people were totally optional. Students who did complete the course of study received clothes, blocks of salt, livestock, and money as gifts upon their graduation. Graduation ceremony consisted of wearing a white garment while riding a white horse towards the university.
Russia declares war on Germany. You won't believe this. So this is what happened. You all know that NATO allies approved for Ukraine to be using the long-range weapons. That is UK, Germany, France, and also USA. They approved for Ukraine to attack anywhere in Russia. And the first attack was in Moscow. So Russia did the investigation to find out where these missiles, where they were made. And they found out that it came from Germany. So Germany is taking their weapons to Russia to try and take out Putin, to try and attack Russia. So Putin said that they know where those missiles, all those weapons, where they came from. They are going to shoot out the launch, where these places were launching. They are going to destroy it, and after they are done with that, they are going to destroy the origin where these missiles they came from. And for you to believe this, Russia, Putin just received 20,000 military tools from North Korea. Can you believe this? So this war is not ending anytime soon. He received artillery, all sort of things to try and take out Ukraine and also to take out Germany.
White people.
Okay, white America. I come with a message from black America. We are leaving. We are leaving. You have won. We are leaving. All of us are leaving. All the colored people, all the brown people, we are leaving. You're going to get what you want. We are leaving. We are leaving, okay? You're going to get what you want. You say you all want us out of America. We are leaving. We are leaving. We promise. We have no problems leaving. As long as you leave Africa and you leave the Caribbean, don't take nothing. Just go. Just go. That's it. That's the arrangement. You leave Africa and you leave the Caribbean and don't come back. Don't take nothing. Walk out with your two hands empty. That's the arrangement. We will leave America, sure, to the blue eyes, to those that say they want to make America great again, to those that say black people need to leave, Spanish people need to go. We will leave as long as you leave Africa and the Caribbean. Tell me what you think. Do we have a deal? Let me know.
It looks like all the African nations are now following Ibrahim Traore, and they have refused neo-colonialism. The president of Zambia has just joined Ibrahim Traore. The president of Zambia has told the United States of America and all the Western nations to refund all the money that they took after they rejected the visas of the people in Zambia. It is now turning out that the Western nations have been using the visa to get a lot of revenue from Africans. So this is how they play the game. If you apply to go to the United States of America, UK, or a Western nation, they tell you to apply a visa and you pay a lot of money. And once you pay that money, if your visa is rejected, they do not refund the money. And as at now, they are making billions of money from refusing the visas from Africans. The person who retaliated in Africa was Ibrahim Traore, then Netumbo Nandi, and now Zambia is demanding all the money that was rejected in visas. And now they are saying, if you reject a visa, you should refund that money to the person who applied, because in Africa it is not as easy as getting that money as is in the United States of America or the Pharaoh nations.